Starting, so we're live.
We're live, guys. Alright.
Welcome, Periscope.
Hi, friends.
Behind the scenes.
It's gonna be really hard not to swear.
We normally dress up.
Yeah, we just always do. It's not a Halloween thing.
This is totally normal. Alright.
I wasn't going to kill people after. It's not let us close here.
Alright. Welcome back to another episode of Horror Central. This is Kelsey.
And this is Rudy. It seems like Kelsey actually survived this week.
She did.
Surprisingly. Yeah, this week we're going to be talking about horror films that began from video games.
Yep, adaptions.
I'm sorry, can we start over?
Yeah, we can start
Okay.
over. Sorry, I fucked you up.
Yeah.
I was saying we should view Periscope on your phone.
Oh, I was like, what does this mean?
Sorry.
We're live, guys.
Yeah, we are. We collect.
This is all part of what happens behind the scenes.
Yep, it's not as pretty as what it sounds.
No, it doesn't take one day.
This really small sweaty room.
You know, I wasn't sweaty. You guys, I don't know about you.
Okay. Right. I don't want to push play because then we'll get feedback. So.
Yeah, we don't need that.
It's
Alright.
working.
Okay.
No,
So
my
sorry,
phone is
guys.
falling. I don't need these anymore. I know that we're levels are good.
All right, let's do it.
I just hit myself in the
Okay.
face. Alright. Welcome back to another episode of Horror Central. This is Kelsey. I'm still alive, guys.
And this is Rudy. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about more horror films, obviously.
Yes, plenty more. And this is Ryan McCary, and it's going to be video game adaptions from horror video games.
Yeah, so this week, I guess we'll just get right into it. Well, I did Resident Evil. And what did you guys do?
I watched Silent Hill.
I watched Dune, which I was super thrilled to watch.
Yeah, we gave you the...
Is it we gave you the dud?
We're like, you know what? You can just do that one.
We'll go into it later.
So, I guess I'll just go ahead and start. With Resident Evil, it was in 2002, just a short little bio for those who haven't seen it. I feel like by now, if you haven't seen it, then you're obviously not interested, but it's basically an adaptation from the movie, or from the game, Resident Evil.
There's a game called Resident Evil.
Yeah, well, surprise. Originally it was supposed to be called Biohazard, side note there, but it wasn't really cleared why they hadn't gone to that because of the copyright issues, because apparently it was an 80s punk rock band.
Huh.
So they had a contest, and that's what won the name title, was Resident Evil in the
There
contest.
should be a punk band called Resident Evil, I think.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, it's about basically a T-virus that breaks out from this company called the Umbrella Company, and someone obviously breaks in, takes it. The whole thing just goes down after that. Company shuts down because there's this computer that is like very high-tech, intelligent computer called the Red Queen, and she just shuts down because she doesn't want the virus to obviously get out into the real world. So the rescue team has to go in to stop this and figure out what happened, and in that process, obviously, crazy stuff happens. The lead character, Alice, is one of the, she was knocked out at the beginning. Well, she woke up, she had memory loss, and they're at this mansion where...
Seems familiar.
Yeah.
Just like Fifth Element.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yep, she can't remember. She's in this mansion, she doesn't know what's going on, and then they find out that this mansion is actually another entrance to the Hive, is what they call it, which is underground, and that's where the Umbrella Company does their work. So they go in that way through this train, traveling down to the hole. I should mention too that there's lots of reference to Alice in Wonderland. So
Yeah.
obviously the Red Queen, the computer, Alice, traveling down the hole. They test also on rabbits, and they're all white rabbits in the movie, so they're testing the T virus up on that. And that's how, and over time, she gets her memory back. There's another guy, too, that she's with, that she's married with, but she doesn't obviously. She's, like, remembering things slowly as the movie goes on. So, yeah, they're not zombies. Okay, these people who are dead are not zombies. They're infected with with a T virus.
Yeah.
There is a cure, because she took it, and that's why obviously they were able to do all these spin-off movies, because she has a cure and she's not going to die.
There's quite a few sequels.
Yes.
Any sequels?
So, yeah, I guess like what I want to just say is like, you know, obviously all this stuff happens, but my favorite thing is at the end. I'm just going to cut right down to that. Is the train. Like everything is pretty much just kind of like, you know, boring shots. You know, it's a good story, but it's kind of like nothing that stands out, but except for the train scene. When they're,
Lasers are cool.
Oh yeah, the lasers. Yeah, that was like the first thing I was like, well, this is.
It's like the most memorable scene from the movie.
Yeah. Yep, when they're trying to go into the Red Queen's lair and shut her down, and she fries them all.
Bad things happen.
Yep, they're all gonna die down here. That's what she says. So.
They did.
Yeah. But anyways, you find out. I mean, there's also the cop, because the cop and the girl are the main characters for the game.
There's always a cop.
So, yeah. And he was actually trying to bring down the company, and Alice was the one that was the person helping them get that information out to the cops. But she, as she remembers this over time, then you find out that her husband originally was the guy who went in and infected everybody and stealing it. So it's just like a whole bunch of backstabbing of everybody in this film. But the train was like my favorite because everyone's leaving. The shots were all quick and fast, and it was like her in the middle of the train, and they just keep spinning around her over and over, and it's just like this intense, because she's just like ready. She's just, you know, and I guess it's called the liquor. I want to say, yes, the liquor, which is actually only it's in the second video game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember it being in a video.
Yeah, it wasn't in the original one, so that's something different from that. But they have her, you know, killing that at the end of the film, and that whole thing, just even the music, everything. And then when Rain dies, then she comes back, and you're just like, oh my gosh, now they have to deal with her too, and while they're trying to kill the liquor, and then she's like, open the door, and then he just shoots her, and then she falls back on the butt and opens the door, and I'm like, that's amazing, that's pretty funny. I liked how he did that. It was directed by and written by Paul W.S. Anderson, who's also
Pretty decent director.
Yeah, he did all the Resident Evil films.
Yes, he did.
And Death Race, and well, he produced that. He also did. He also produced Pompeii and Three Musketeers.
Huh.
Too. So, and he's married to Mila Jovovich.
Jovovich?
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce
Yeah,
it
I don't
exactly.
know.
She's hot.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. The main character, Alice, and that's how they actually met. They probably weren't going to meet because Alice was originally supposed to be Gwen.
Paltrow.
Yeah. So they were supposed to play her. So it's kind of interesting.
Really? I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Maybe
Yeah.
Iron Man's assistant would have been Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Might change
But-
the course of everything.
But yeah, she's also in The Fifth Element, like you said. She's also in Zoolander. She plays the
Russian.
Yeah. She's like, you got that in JC. Denise, what is this?
I forgot about that.
She's also in Dazed and Confused, and she's in The Fourth Kind, also.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then the guy who plays Matt, who's the cop, he was the Crow in the Crow movie.
Brandon Lee?
Yeah. No, Eric Mabius. It's the Crow. That's all it says.
Oh.
That's all I have for my notes. I
Gotcha.
apologize.
Oh, you're good. I
So-
still love the Crows.
He hasn't really been anything since then, just Ugly Betty in Chicago, but, and then we all know that the girl, Rain, Michelle Rodriguez, who's Fast and Furious, also in Avatar, and Machete Kills, and she's in Lost too, if anybody
Yep.
watched that TV show.
They need a badass Latina girl.
Yeah, she's
good.
usually that person, yeah, but she's good, and
Yeah, she's great.
I like
Yeah.
her a lot.
yeah, and she was good in the new Fast and Furious too, because, 7, maybe Fast and Furious 7. Furious 7.
I'm not going to comment on that series.
Yeah,
at
I
all.
know. We talked about that yesterday. So yeah, I just thought I thought it was pretty good. I mean, considering I hadn't seen it in a long time, I was still like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Like,
that's what I like about this podcast. I get to rewatch films, and I'm like, I forgot how much I love this movie.
Yeah. So another little thing. Oh, the movie was supposed to be called Resident Evil Nemesis, but Star Trek released a movie called Star Trek Nemesis, so they had to change it to just Resident Evil. And then also George Romano once wrote a movie script for this film, but
Romero?
Yeah, sorry. Oops.
I was just making sure.
My handwriting's not very good. That's why I type everything. But anyways, it's very close to the original game. But they had Chris and Jill, who had been Alice and Matt, as a love interest. And Chris was not part of the Cops or the Stars member. So, but it didn't work out, and he ended up doing a commercial for the second video game in Japan. The film is now 10 years old to this day.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's older than that now.
You feel old.
And then each film, it has a different color palette too, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I didn't know that, so yeah, so I want to go and watch all of them now to just like pay attention.
We'll just have a movie marathon.
There we go. It made $300 million worldwide, which is more than, obviously, than just people playing video games. Because if it was just the video game fans, it would have only made $100 million.
Yeah.
So.
It was one of the first few adaptions, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I already talked about Alice being, and then they were all engaged. Oh, and then this I thought was interesting. Raccoon City is a mix of Philly and Detroit.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I was looking at the pictures, and like they have like a scan when they do like the little map thing. You can totally see it's Detroit. Like the lake is right there, and everything. I was like, oh, what? So I thought that was cool. And then of course the last shot is towards I'm going to say his name wrong. Romero.
It's all good.
But the last shot of that film was dedicated to him from Day of the Dead because, I mean, she comes out after, she wakes up in the hospital. They take her away. She gets out of the hive. She takes her away to the hospital. They're like, we got to do tests to see if she's infected. She wakes up in this room with a whole bunch of needles, like, jammed in her head and all this stuff. And she gets out and there's newspapers, you know, it says The Dead Walking, which if you watch the date is September 24th, 2002, and that's when the video game was released. So there's a little sign out there.
Little Easter eggs for the game.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and then, but yeah, that was also just, because that was the opening shot for Day of the Dead, I believe, right?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but it was towards, it was just this little, like, hey,
Little nod.
we're thinking of you. I don't know, yeah.
Thinking of you.
You, George Romero.
Hey.
I see you.
So, well, yeah. Oh, and then I thought it was interesting, like just in the video game news, that the voices were originally going to be in Japanese, but then they ended up changing it like the very last minute. So, and it was supposed to be a first-person shooter too. Sorry, I got really into researching this because you guys know I'm a gamer too, so
right.
You know. And they just remastered the game. They just released the original in HD for all those PC players. They're real gamers out there.
Oh my gosh.
That's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole nother. It's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, so it did that. But yeah, they also did that. So I don't know. And there's a new movie. There's a new one coming out in 2017. We're working on it right now. So
I don't know how I feel about that.
yeah.
I like the first few Resident Evils, but I didn't watch the last few because I was like, oh, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll go see it.
I'll see
I
it.
probably won't. I'm snooty.
You are.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But
yeah, I love these movies. Like I watch them with my dad and my brothers, and they're great.
Yeah, if you're a fan, it doesn't really matter. Like, if it's bad, you'll still love it.
Oh yeah.
I love a lot of terrible horror films.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I thought, you know, it was good. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely, you know, check it out. It's on Amazon. It was not on Netflix. But
Tragedy.
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it on Amazon. You can rent it for $2.99. So.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not. And if you have Prime, I mean, then you get points, so maybe you can even rent it for free. I don't know.
Or Family Video probably has it pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Ooh,
If you
yeah.
actually want to go in person,
Yeah, I guess.
crazy
Just-
notion.
There are
If you want to
video
get in your
stores.
car and
Human
drive
interaction.
and talk to people,
No. Pass.
who needs that, right?
No.
So, but yeah, overall that was pretty good.
What would be your rating?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Don't
Rating.
forget about that.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say like 3. What did I have? Axes? 3
Mhm.
axes.
Okay.
3 axes. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
maybe more like 2.7 axes. Like it was like
It sounded like you put a lot of love towards it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
I
because
wasn't
I love
expecting
the
this.
actress so
I
much.
know, I wasn't either.
I was expecting, like, we're doing out of 5 right now.
Yeah.
Like 3.
I don't know, maybe 2.5. I know I keep going down, but like I said, like she's like
She just keeps going down.
Come back
This
to
is
us in
getting
10
worse.
minutes. It's going to be 1.
Well,
Yeah.
like just like overall,
We're
like the
different.
shots and everything, it just wasn't anything. Like it did set, it was something new, and it started a whole like aspect of like films. But like, if I'm gonna be real, yeah, I'm just gonna stick to 2.7. I'm gonna stick to 2.7.
Okay.
This review is gonna change in about like
Yeah,
20 minutes.
Yeah.
She's gonna hate it. Like,
Awful.
Never mind. Don't even watch it.
No, it was good.
No,
It's-
do watch it.
It's good.
It's definitely a good check out.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, what about? Okay, we'll go ahead and do the Silent Hill. We'll have to say.
Aren't we gonna review them?
Oh, we don't get to.
Oh yeah.
Are we
I
not
guess-
allowed to?
Well, no, I just didn't know if you guys watched it. Did you guys watch
I've seen it before, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched it recently.
Okay.
Same.
All right. Then go ahead. Whoever wants to go. Who
Let's
wants
go.
to do it first? Oh.
3.5
Oh.
laser beams. 5. Might as well keep it close to the movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
There's an axe in the movie, so good.
Yeah, you're good.
See, I just always stick with the same weapon because chainsaws are my thing. I guess. I don't know.
I just usually try to affiliate it with a movie. I have no idea why.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. I don't think that much into it.
So why 3.5?
Oh, well, I like the shots and stuff like you were saying. And I thought Mila Jovovich was really good in that one.
Yeah.
I think her acting pushes it above that 2.5
Yeah.
mark that you have. That and, like, I mean, I haven't
Brutal.
played many, just brutal up in here.
It's 2.7.
2.7, okay. I'm sorry, I'll correct myself. But yeah, I enjoyed the video games. I honestly only played Resident Evil 4, which is known as one of the better ones, more recent ones. Resident Evil 5 and 6 is forgettable, so don't even try playing those games. So it's definitely a movie and a video game. Any of these ones that we discuss, I think, are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're comparing it right off of the video game, you're going to hate it.
Exactly.
Just like a book movie, you're going to hate if you're just like, hey,
Yep.
this is not the same as my book. You'll hate it. It doesn't matter if it's the best movie ever. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You definitely have to separate the adaptation from
Yeah.
its original content because otherwise you're never gonna like it. It's never gonna be the same thing.
I guess that's almost counter-thinking of our remake discussion of Halloween, but whatever, don't listen.
Interesting.
Right, yeah. Anyways, 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a. See, I was gonna give it a 3.5.
Yeah, you can do it.
All right, I'm
You
gonna
can
give
have
it a 3.5 chainsaws.
So. Alright.
No, it's standard guns, like,
Yeah. She didn't have that though. The gun.
it's just expression.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Stick
She
your
has
guns.
it in
Stick
the
your
other
guns,
one,
that's
yeah.
what it Stand
Yeah.
by them. Just,
So,
I'm standing by
just
my
casually
guns.
stand next to them. You don't have to hold them. It doesn't.
They're there.
They're there,
Apparently-
don't mess with me.
They're mind controlled, so they'll do what you need it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Don't listen to me.
Okay, Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. Oh man, I love Silent Hill.
I love the feel of the whole movie.
Yes, it's so good. Okay, so let me give you a brief introduction. If you haven't seen it, first of all, go home or if you're already home, find it and watch it because it's so good. So Silent Hill is about this couple and their young daughter, and she keeps sleepwalking, and like the mom wakes up in terror and realizes that her daughter's gone. They find her near this waterfall, and she's like screaming Silent Hill in her sleep, and so they try and ask her about it, and she doesn't really, she doesn't remember anything, as one does. So she starts researching about Silent Hill, and she decides to take her daughter to Silent Hill, which is this like town in Pennsylvania. And, forget about the husband. We don't need to tell Sean Bean where we're going. Spoiler alert, Sean Bean doesn't die in this film.
Whoa.
It's really hard to find those films.
I know,
Or shows.
I know, so...
Oops.
So, he's alive. That's cool, I guess. So they go to Silent Hill, and on the way she's like drawing pictures, and you see her earlier in the film like drawing near a tree, and the pictures kind of get dark like the closer they get to you. Silent Hill, they're like burning buildings, and Rose, the main character, asks her daughter Sharon about it, and Sharon's like, I don't know, I didn't write these. Like, she gets really upset. They're at a gas station. She says, like, I'll let you sit in the front, to like kind of placate her. And there's this cop, and she comes up to the window while Rose is painting, and Sharon says, I don't talk to strangers, and the cop says, good girl, great thing, the cop is from The Walking Dead. I can't remember. Yes, she's Andrea from The Walking Dead. So she asks how to get to Silent Hill, and they tell her, like, you can't go there, like, it's blocked off. So she keeps going anyways, and right before she gets to, like, the turn, the cop pulls her over. Because the cop tried to talk to her at the gas station, and she just kind of blew her off. So she checks out her license plate, and then follows her, and then she stops her. And then Rose decides to just take off, and they're kind of like in a chase, and then Rose crashes the car. And then she like wakes up the next day and realizes that Sharon's gone. She's still all disoriented. So that's what happens. You fall asleep in a car crash and you don't remember anything. I don't know. So she finds the town, and she starts looking for her, and that's when the cop shows up, and she handcuffs her, and things get spooky.
Very spooky.
3 spooky, 5 me. It's like 2 spooky, 4 me, but they replace the numbers. I know, I'm not funny.
You went way over
I was like, I don't know what she's saying.
It's okay, you don't have to.
You just gotta smile and nod.
Yes, that's what most people do when I talk. So, she gets attacked by these tiny children and goes into this bowling alley and Ring of Fireplace, which is the only song in the film that is not from the original video game. All of the music is from the original video game, which is awesome. And then a bunch of other crazy things happen. They go to the school to try and find her daughter. She finds a diary of a girl named Alyssa who looks just like Sharon. And they kind of follow her and try and find her because she thinks it's her daughter. There's another woman that they run into, and she's trying to ask about her daughter. Have you seen my daughter? Her name's Sharon. Shows her a locket that has a picture of Sharon in it, and the woman says, that's my daughter, and kind of freaks out. And then there's all these sirens that go off, and it gets dark and spooky some more, and it just does this over, and there's so many cool... The music... I just can't even get over it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the soundtrack's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Like, the makeup in this film is amazing.
Yeah.
And, like, the dark nurses are super cool in the hospital. And you learn more about, like, Alyssa's backstory and how she was teased because they thought her mom was a witch. And eventually they actually, like, burn her alive to, like, sacrifice her. It's like this religious cult. And you see her in the hospital. She's like alive but barely, and it's kind of like her revenge on these people, and that's why the town is the way that it is because of this. And towards the end they're in the church, and they actually burn the cop who's Andrea from Walking Dead. They burn her alive, which I was really mad about because I liked her. She was way cool. And then Alessa shows up and just literally rips people apart with barbed wires.
Yeah, that part's awesome.
Is just like murdering these people. And she protects, her mom is there, and she protects Sharon and Rose. And there's like there's like a moment where Alessa's mom is like, a mother is a god in a child's eyes. And so they escape, and like you can like visibly see after they leave the church that like Sharon is better. Like there's kind of this like weight lifted off of her shoulders, that she's not carrying this burden anymore. And they go back home and they realize that they're like in this alternate universe now. And like you see her husband is like home, like comes home alone after trying to find them, and like they're both in the house at the same time, but they're not. And it's crazy, and I just love this movie so much. I could talk about it for days.
Nice.
I don't have days.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody has days. I like that the creatures. First of all, the creatures are way cool. I think they're really unique. They're all played by dancers too, which is cool so they get the movements right. You know, there's the guy who has no arms, and he spits acid, and you see him crawling around, and you have the Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head's the coolest villain.
He's so cool. He's got that giant knife. Apparently he wore 15-inch heels, and I guess that like apron or whatever he's wearing,
Yeah.
it had no back for whatever reason, so they could see it, like the actresses could see his butt.
That's fantastic.
I read that somewhere, so that's kind of funny. And it's just a cool premise, and I just love it. The dark nurses are so cool. Everything about it, I don't know.
Because she just stumbles into that building with the nurses, right? And then she just like looks around, and they're right there, and then they're just like waiting.
Yeah,
So
well, she goes down
terrifying.
the elevator,
Oh yeah, okay.
and then Alyssa's like, thank you for like going this far, and like shows her like the visions of like her in the hospital and stuff, and you like kind of learn more about the story because she's like going down to investigate it,
That's awesome.
and it's just awesome.
So what would you rate it? Well, we can order. Wait, who was it directed by again?
It is directed by Christoph Gans.
Okay.
I could be pronouncing that wrong.
What else has he done?
Let me look.
Sorry, I'm just wondering because I feel like I remember like Silent Hill is a lot more memorable to me than Resident Evil.
It is.
Just because there's just so much to it. And like,
He's only directed about 6 films, and
Probably nothing memorable.
yeah.
there's a short called Silver Slime, Necronomicon, Book of the Dead, Crying Freeman, Brotherhood of the Wolf,
Are these all
Silent
short films?
Hill. No,
Oh.
just the first one's a short. And then Beauty and the Beast from 2014.
It's not really active.
Yeah, so he's not really.
Is he French?
Random.
Because Beauty and the Beast is a French film that was just released in 2014. I know because
He was born in France. Yes.
Haha.
Look
So
at
it is
you
that
go.
new French film.
Rudy's our French connection.
I
here.
love. Oh,
I think
je
they're
adore.
okay.
Whatever.
So yeah, it's I love it.
What's your rating?
Yeah. What's your rating now?
Guys, we're not recording.
What happened?
Oh my god. Well,
When did it stop?
we're recording on Periscope.
We are recording. You like kind of learn more about the story.
I don't know. It seemed to.
It must have happened when you went onto the internet.
I don't think so because I've done that before.
Did we just want to cut it in from where it left off?
Yeah, just go on and just start talking about the director.
All right, hang on, let me figure out. And then, Alyssa's
Bear with
like,
us.
"Thank you Sorry, guys. Technical issues. This far, and like shows her like
Let's make sure it's still working though. Hopefully you guys are liking our Periscope thing.
Yeah,
This is our first time doing it, so
my first time ever actually using it.
so bear with us.
I'm curious to see how many people are watching. I hope
Are
it's
still-
a few. If it's actually working, which it probably
It's still
isn't.
working.
Cool. Well, at least we
No,
have
it's not
one.
on Ryan. It's on horizontal.
Oh, that's because I'm not looking at the right
Do you
one.
even have horizontal?
No, I have to follow him.
Okay, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And so this film is directed by Christoph Gans. I'm probably saying the last name wrong. But he hasn't really done a whole lot since this movie, or really before. He's done about 6 films. One was a short. He did Beauty and the Beast in 2014. But most of the other ones I haven't really heard of.
Yeah, he's French too, I think.
Yes, sorry, I was following us on Periscope. Yes, he is French, and he directed the most recent live-action Beauty and the Beast, which Beauty and the Beast is actually an original French film. If you watch like there's an old one before Disney actually did it. It's a silent one, and the makeup is outstanding, and I got to see all that in France. But anyways, yes, he's a good director.
Yeah, so I really like Silent Hill. The makeup and the effects are amazing. I think it's a great story, and I think it's really interesting. I think it's a great premise. So, in my rating, I'm gonna give it a 4.75 chainsaws out of 5.
Nice. What do you think, Rudy?
Oh man, I haven't seen it since it came out, so, but I feel like just because it's so memorable to me, like I even remembered exactly like everything you're talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So I'm gonna have to say, wait, what was yours again? I'm sorry.
Mine was a 4.75.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm gonna do 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 axes.
There you go.
There you
Sorry.
Slacking. I really enjoyed it too. The first time I seen it was in the drive-in movie. And
Oh, that's
it was so
awesome.
awesome. It was a double feature. I forget the first movie, but I remember Silent Hill. Just that one scene you were saying with the barbed wire. Just seeing that, like, and then like just darkness all around it. Like it looked really cool. But yeah.
That scene is so epic too.
Yeah.
It's just like, boom, you tried to burn me, now I'm gonna hate murder you with barbed wires.
Yeah.
I'm gonna split you in 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's just one of those movies that like is scary, but like in its own way.
Yeah.
Without trying, it's not going for like the shock value of like, this is gory, and
Yeah.
it's just,
It just makes you feel uneasy.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
pretty-
it.
And that's the feeling I like from films.
Yep, same here.
I'm gonna have to give it 3.75 pyramid head swords out of 5. If it's a sword, it's probably just a big dagger. Meat cleaver. I honestly,
Isn't he like dragging it? Isn't it like
most of the
massive?
time, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say
Just like
cleaver.
Pyramid Head.
Yeah, pyramid head's weapon. 3.75.
I know somebody
pyramid
who's
head's
gonna be
weapon.
Pyramid Head for
Okay.
Halloween, and that's awesome.
Nice.
If you made it out of like cardboard or something,
Yeah,
I've
that's what
seen
he's
cosplay
doing.
like of
Yeah.
some people do it.
Way cool.
Yeah.
All right, so on to Doom.
Oh.
Oh, Doom.
As you can see, my information is very limited about it because there wasn't really much to go off
I like
of.
your paper.
Yeah, it's little Scotch Terriers and Christmas and thing. Anyways, to the movie, I covered Doom this week. It came out in 2005. Main actors in this film are Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Have to introduce him like a wrestler, obviously. Rosamund Pike, who honestly I think is the best actress in the film, even better than any of the actors. Which Carl Urban's also an actor in it. He was also in a few other popular films. He was in both Star Trek films. He's Chris Pine's like friend. I forget his exact character's name in it. But Rosamund Pike plays in Gone Girl with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Really good if you haven't seen it. Like crazy good performance. She should have got Best Actress for it. Anyways, pretty decent cast for those two. The Rock I have a love-hate relationship with. I really don't think he's that great of an actor. I'll probably get a lot of hate for that, but I don't care.
I agree.
Uh,
with you, so
the
But he's
director.
just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's America's sweetheart.
He's like America's version of Arnold. Like, he can get away with a lot of his acting because he doesn't say much, and he's just that character. I would say he's
good in Furious 7.
Yeah, I have not seen it. I've only seen the first Fast and
Rudy,
Furious.
this is not a Fast and Furious
No.
podcast. This is a horror
I will
central.
kick you out.
I was not.
Exiler.
Anyways, the director is Andrzej Bartiowiak. That's how I'm going to pronounce it, and I don't care if it's wrong. He directed not many great films in my mind. Romeo Must Die he did, and Cradle to the Grave. And I think his choice of picking like Dwayne Johnson is kind of seen in those choices because he picked like Jet Li, and I think he had like DMX, I think was in Cradle to the Grave. So he's got that like the action I would say is actually pretty good in Doom. Like,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Doom as a film I think is way far away from the video game because I mean Doom is the video game. I mean it basically is the first-person shooter game, which I mean if you look at any video games nowadays, almost all of them are first-person shooters. So it changed the whole landscape of video games.
It's true.
Cannot be saying like the same about the film at all.
No, it's just not very memorable at all.
No,
I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna lie.
no, that's fine. I'll give
I
you
don't blame you.
quick introduction of that one. The story for the video game, anyways, is that they go to this one planet, I believe, and I played the first one a long time ago, but it's been a while. But basically, he's a space marine that's basically really awesome, and he fights creatures from hell, and he goes through like the space station that he's like fighting through, and then he's trying to get to a location, which that's very vague sounding, I know. But the storyline for the movie though is there's a space station that gets like infected on Mars, which is not even near where like the location is for the video game. And there's like a portal on Earth that they travel from this portal to this station on Mars. And like there was like some contaminant that infected some of the doctors. There's like 6 doctors on this place where like the Ark is the name of the thing that shoots them across space-time. It's like a bubble. Like when they transport, like you press a button, it takes like 5 seconds, and then it's just like a floating bubble, and then you just get sucked into it and you get transported. And the first person they meet is a guy named Pinky something, and that's like a reference to one of the Pinky monsters in one of the Dooms. I think it's Doom 3. Like he's half a person, like he's only torso up, because he tried to use the Arc transmitter and he got part of his body sent here, and then the rest of his body got sent to, I'm assuming, on Mars. So he's basically just attached to a motorized wheelchair, and he's just going around. And later on he gets turned into a monster, which is one of the Doom monsters, and he's monster upwards, and then like he's just like crawling around with the wheelchair. It's pretty frightening. It's cool. But anyways, they meet Pinky. He pays attention to Dwayne Johnson's character is named Sarge. Rosamund Pike is a doctor that's on Mars. Her name is Samantha Grimm. Her brother is Jonathan Grimm, who's Carl Urban's character. He's a Marine. When they were kids, at this Mars station, it's supposed to be like an archaeological dig. Wow, I cannot say that.
It's okay.
Whatever, fossil dig. And they find bones of like mutated like people on Mars that used to live. And like they find that they had like another extra chromosome, like a 24th chromosome that gave them like super abilities. So like they're trying to develop that. I think the Marines are trying to get that so they can be like super powerful. So it's like super under wraps that they don't know about a lot about it. But the objective of the Space Marines is basically to clear the contamination and get all the information that's on the computers there. And they take all that information and then they try to bring it back. But obviously the doctors are getting affected. The first person is named Dr. Carmack, and he's actually, John Carmack's the creator of Doom, so it's kind of like a little hint towards him being in the film, kind of, not really. But originally the doctor that like put out the stress call, he's the first guy, the Dr. Carmack, and he's injured and like he looks like he's sick. They put him in like the medical bay, and he's slowly getting worse, and then as the 6 Marines that are going through, they all got strange names like Sarge, Carl Urban's character is named Reaper, There's another guy named. There's a lot of random names. I think it's kind of homage towards like usernames for video games where you choose whatever, but they go through that. They find a few of the doctors that got infected. They're basically just transforming into monsters. There's a lot of scenes in the film that look just like a zombie movie, which is totally opposite of what the game is. Like, I mean, the game's creatures from hell, they don't look like zombies, but there's even scenes later on where John Grimm looks down a hallway and he just sees like a bunch of people just like eating somebody on the ground, and it looks just like Dawn of the Dead. And I was like, I guess they have to have some adaptions, but it's not great for the game.
But come on.
Are they actually zombies or are they infected?
It's another infection because
Yeah.
they're getting that 24th chromosome. And
Yeah.
It's
A mutation.
it's a weird kind of selection. Like, I don't know if they're trying to make like a good and bad like complex in it, because they say that if you have a good mind, if you get like injected with that 24th chromosome, you'll get superpowers, but you don't get to transform into a monster. But if you're a bad person, you get transformed into like this mongoloid creature, which the creatures actually look very close to like Doom 3's monsters. So that actually follows the games a lot. But boiling it down towards the end, most of the Marines get picked off by all the monsters, predictable, and they get killed in pretty cool ways. Like, there's this big black guy that has a Gatling gun. I mean, it just reminded me of Predator, like just them in the jungle and Arnold with his big Gatling gun. So they were trying to replicate that kind of feel, I think, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So I think towards the end, it got really... They had a whole 10-minute sequence, which I thought was really awesome. It was my favorite part of the film, where the camera, like, Carl Urban, like, John Grimm gets infected with, well, his sister gives him the serum to get the 24th chromosome because he got shot, and he becomes a super marine, and he goes into first-person mode, and for 10 minutes, he's just going around, like, shooting monsters in the face. Super cool. Like, I mean, I know the whole film couldn't be like that. It could be, and it'd probably be better, honestly. But,
Yeah, I think so too.
but that part was my favorite, and then towards the end of that, he kills a few monsters, fights the Pinky monster, kills him in the wheelchair. He even holds like the chainsaw, like one of the Doom games, so that was cool. And he goes to find Dwayne Johnson, who basically lost his mind because he was killing everybody, even if they were going to get infected but come good. He kills them anyways, and he's like, we have to kill everybody. And he, I think, took it himself, the chromosome, because then he started slowly turning into the monster, and him and Carl Urban fight for a good 10 minutes, and it's just like Fast and Furious 7, like,
Really?
fight, like, it was just like the broiest thing I've ever seen, like,
It
to
is
have
very,
at the, like, I mean, you gotta have a big climactic fight, and like, it's a video game movie, so they gotta have it, but, I mean, Dwayne Johnson wraps a piece of metal around his arm and he's like punching him, and this has nothing to do with Doom. Like, it's a first-person shooter, and they're like hand-to-hand combat because they're like, let's fight like Marines, and then they drop their guns.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And yeah,
So what would you rate it?
I would rate that 1 out of 5. One, I'm not gonna even give it a weapon or a gun or even, I guess. No, I'll sorry.
No.
1 BFG out of 5, because that was pretty cool. Dwayne Johnson gets it's called like the Bioforce gun or something, but he just says it's the big effing gun, and that was cool. So. Yeah, there's a few things I like, but 1 out of 5, it was a terrible film.
Well, I can't really judge it since I haven't seen it, just because it didn't seem interesting, and by the sounds of it, I'm glad I got
It's
to
pretty
see it.
forgettable. They were gonna have
Yeah.
a sequel, but they didn't because it didn't make that much money at the box office. It
Because-
barely made a profit.
Nobody liked it because it sucked.
What was your rating? Since you've seen it.
I'm gonna give it also a 1 BFG
1 BFG out of 5.
out of 5 because wow.
Yeah. If
If
you're
you're
not a
looking
film major, or if you don't like look at films critically, I think you can really enjoy it.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, it like I wouldn't say it's not entertaining, but it's like,
Yeah.
when you really think about it, you're just like,
It's
what's going
It's
on?
a really weak plot.
Yeah.
Like I said, even the location's way off. So unless
Right.
Doom 3 has Mars involved, which I don't know. I've never played Doom 3. But.
Yeah. Well, I think we should probably wrap it up because I know that time's getting. Kelsey has class.
Yes,
Oh.
I
You're
do.
responsible.
That sounds-
So that's it for this week. Again, I'm Rudy, and you guys.
Yeah, and next week we're doing foreign horror films, so listen to that. My name's Ryan McCary.
And I'm Kelsey Cavazos.
Peace out.
Bye. Alright, so, I don't know. That was really weird.
Did I just stop? What was the warning?
The warning
Oh, yeah,
was
so-
that it wouldn't play back.
That's weird.
Thanks for our Periscope. We're signing
Yes,
off now.
thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thank you for watching. Actually, can you log into it to see if we have, I'm
You
curious
want
if
me
it
to
says how
log
many viewers.
into Twitter or like Periscope?
Periscope. I just want to see how many people are viewing, if they did.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know if I can do that on here.
I think you can do it like right after.
No viewers.